remember you telling me. I remember you telling me.
So he sent me a friend request one time in conjunction with you, but I didn't accept. But if he's giving you a place to stay, mate.
Well, he's not there. He's gone into his girlfriend's for a week.
He's got a girlfriend.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Come on, Big John here. It's after 5. I'm in Birstall and I'm outside the library. So I'm outside the library where Jo Cox was killed. I'll just walk down to the area where she was killed. And I'm with my mate, Andrew Patrick, if anyone knows him. You do know him. And it was round here. Just past the library, it was round here. This is where she was killed. Now why am I doing the video? Why am I doing the video? Well, I've just got some issues with the evidence and stuff like that they put out, and I've watched the Richard D. Hall private investigation into it, and a lot of the evidence don't match up. It's dodgy. The CCTV footage of the guy is dodgy as well. On the CCTV footage, it shows him with a limp, and he walked down that way, by the way. But we're going to go down that way, and I'm going to walk the full path where she was killed. Now, immediately at a crime scene, she was in between 2 cars similar to this, and there was people bending down trying to help her out or whatever, blood everywhere. Now, if you're in that situation, you're concentrating on working on Jo here. You're concentrating on getting her to survive, seeing what her wounds are, doing first aid and stuff like that's what you do. So you wouldn't really be aware of everything around you. Now, let's look at a circle. Let's go out about 3 or 4 meters. So who would have been 3 or 4 meters? So maybe there was somebody here who could see what was going on, but not directly involved. So they're getting a bigger scope. Then when you go out further, people in this position looking down the road, they're not doing immediate care or anything. They know something's going on, so they're aware of everything around here. Now, there was a witness who come down, who was in this situation from this far apart. And she had a lot of evidence to give, and the police never brought her into the investigation. The police never asked her for anything to do with the investigation or anything, and they left her out, and she was she would have been one of the key witnesses. So if you do your research and look into a crime scene and stuff like that, that's what you'll find. In the immediate crime scene, you're dealing with somebody with blood and all that. You're shocked and all that. So you're not aware of everything around you. The further you go back away, the more aware you are of what's going on. So that's the first thing. Also, you'll see on the interviews, a personal assistant who was very... Oh, I've got to have Jo at the library at this time. We can't be late. We can't be late. I'm not relating it to anything. I'm not saying she was part of it, but that's what it was like. There were other witnesses all interviewed and on the media. One woman said, "Oh, I thought it was a Brexit stunt." They didn't have to throw anything in like that. They didn't have to throw anything in like that. Now, what about Jo Cox's past? She's worked for, she was a personal assistant to a prime minister's wife. She worked for United Nations, and she had links to the White Helmets, which is really an execution group. No one's going to tell me any different. They go under the guise that they're saving people, but they're not. The White Helmets are funded by several big countries. America, one of them, Saudi Arabia, another, Britain, another one. And I think that they go around and they execute people who are key targets, but they do that under the guise of they're doing something good. That's the white helmet. So Jo was involved with them. I'm not making any link that anything's to do with them coming. I just want to tell you what you're involved in. So that's a murder scene. Another witness on the time, a young lad, kept tapping his nose with his finger. He was wired up and all that lot. And he said that the killer went off up that way, which he didn't. CCTV footage shows him walking down here. Shows him walking down with a limp, and it shows him walking down with a white hat on. Now, Tommy's friend said he knows this area. Now, the guy's walked down here. Tesco's here, just look, there's a little path there. You can just cut through Tesco's. And he walked down the path here, like to be in front of the CCTV, when his friend said Tommy would have cut across that car park to get to where, that's what he would have done. He would have cut across that car park, and I think that's Union Street there, and gone up Union Street. But the guy who killed Jo Cox walked down here.
Is Tommy the accused?
Yeah, Tommy Murder, yeah. He's walked down here, shows him on CCTV, shows him on that CCTV there. Now he's got to the bottom of here, and then he's turned back up. And there's Union Street that he's gone down. So his friend said he would have cut across here, that car park, to go to Union Street rather than walking down. The other guy looked like he was walking down to make sure that CCTV's seen him. It's mad, honestly. It's so mad. You just couldn't make it up. Union Street. So he's proceeded to go down Union Street. I'm doing the full. It's going to take 40 minutes, if not a bit more. So he's walked down here. Now, there is no CCTV of him here, but there was a witness called Darren Playford who said he followed him. And I mean, there was Darren was on the phone for 20 minutes, but the news and the media only put out a few minutes of his phone call and cut some, and then put another couple of minutes of another section of it. So he's walked down, come to here, and then turned up. Now Darren Playford is still following him here. You can hear his call on Richard D. Hall's video. What I'll do when I get home, or when I get a chance, I'll put the link up to Richard D. Hall's videos. Now the guy, Darren Playford, was saying he's gone behind the old Wine Spirits Lodge. This is as far as Darren Playford goes. I'm going up there in a minute. Get to crossing. Of course he did. What I forgot to tell you is that he never said Britain first. That the guy who killed Jo Cox said, put Britain first. That's what he said. I know this because when she first got killed, I went through all the reports, and it was a Muslim man who was absolutely 100% sure that that the killer had said, put Britain first. No one else could say that. People said it sounded like, oh, they heard. But this Muslim guy said, put Britain first. That's what he said. I cannot even find that guy's interview anymore. I cannot find that guy's interview off the media. And I've searched, but it was there the first couple of weeks after her death. And I've searched and searched. Now, so Darren Playford said he's come round here, Brook Royd Lane. And that's it. No other witnesses had seen him round here. Now, we're coming up to John Nelson Close. John Nelson Close. Now, the police are saying he went down here, went behind one of the houses, and changed his hat, changed his clothes. Well, they didn't say that, but that's what they said. So it's that little corner house, the two houses I'm looking at. It's the one on the right. He went behind there. Someone's living in it now. I was going to come round earlier and knock on and see if I could take some pictures, but I'm not going to bother. Nobody's seen him come here. Nobody, no witnesses. There's no CCTV footage, but this is where the police said. And behind that house, he found a shell cartridge, some clothes, or something like that. Now, there is a time gap between Darren Playford phoning up and the guy coming down here. What they say, what Richard D. Hall is saying, it was 15 minutes he was down here. By this time, while Darren was on the phone saying he had weapons, so the police knew that this person was armed. He spent 15 minutes here and no police came. Right, honestly, 15 minutes and no police came. You couldn't make it up. You really couldn't make it up. He did say the house had links to something to do with Freemasons, but he stopped saying that. But another thing is, the house next door on the left, when the police come round and they talk to them people, did you see anyone coming past? No. Well, that's unusual because they have to come right past near your window. This is what the police said to the people in that house. They have to come right past near your window and you didn't see nothing. Just goes to show me, tell me that he never came, that the killer never came down here. And if he did it for a reason, maybe to throw people off. So he's come out and he's walked up. You can see the sign there, Brownhill Road. Now he's walked up here. There's plenty of CCTV from people's houses, including Darren Playford's brother, of Tommy Murr or the killer walking up here. I mean, there are other things like they identified that the guy had a limp. They identified he had a limp. But when Tommy Murr was arrested, when he's walking, it shows CCTV footage of him. He hasn't got a limp. And he's wearing different shoes. And that's been definitely identified. Definitely identified. So we're on Brownhill Road. Got to go to the top of here. Oh. Oh, Jason, I hope the old man gets better. So he's walked up here. They've got CCTV footage of the killer walking up here. And then when he come out of John Nelson Close, he went in with a white baseball hat on at the killing. And then when they arrested Tommy Murr, he had a black one on. And what they were saying is that he changed hats. Rubbish. He must have changed all his clothes because the clothes Tommy Murr had on did not match anything of the clothes the killer, the screenshots of the killer. I mean, when he went to trial, and the trial was in London, There is no reason for that trial to be in London. Someone's been killed up here. The trial gets done at Leeds. It don't matter how high profile it was. Joe's body was immediately sent to London. And the investigator, Richard D. Hall, someone contacts him who works for the coroner's office in Yorkshire somewhere and says, if a body is being moved out of the county, the coroner has to sign a piece of paper. There was no coroner signing any piece of paper. The body got took down to London, and they also had the trial down London. Tommy Murr's stepbrother said that none of the family were allowed to go to the trial. When they said to the police, said you're not allowed to. When shown pictures of Tommy Murr, a lot of people who knew him, most of them were saying that a lot of the pictures that were shown were not Tommy Murr. And in the police interview, when he first gets arrested, you can't even see the mole on his face. And he has definitely got a prominent mole on his face. You can't even see it. So they picked CCTV out of a few houses coming up this road, showing the killer walking up. They've got CCTV footage of him in Birstall in the marketplace. And again, the guy walks with a limp. When they arrested Tommy, and you look at the video of Tommy walking, he does not walk with a limp. And the guy was identified to be wearing some kind of loafer shoe rather than the steel toe cap boots that Tommy was arrested in. Now, Tommy's either really good, changed all his clothes and carried on walking. That wasn't him. That wasn't him. He liked cats and he liked gardening. And his boots was the kind of boots you wear in a garden. It's really, you want to look at, I'm basing my evidence off the investigation, media reports and what the media said. I haven't even got to the best bit yet. So he's carried on walking, come to here, and then Hills Head Drive. Sure it's not, I think it... There it is. Yeah, this is the one, yeah. Hillhead Drive. He's come across and he's carried on walking up here. Again, they've got CCTV footage of the killer, not Tommy Murr, of the killer, walking up this road. And I mean, so where the Tesco's was, where we went past, his friend said he would have walked through the car park. That's how he does. So why did the guy walk down to the bottom of the road facing the CCTV camera like he wanted to be seen? Honestly, you just couldn't make it up how dodgy this case is. I mean, it's that dodgy that I'm expecting police turn up in a van now. That's what I'm expecting, because I'm on the case. Richard D. Hall did his investigations and got visited or phone calls off the police about half a dozen times for just inquiring. He wasn't threatening anybody. He just inquired. He sent some emails. He tried to contact Darren Playford. Police got in contact with him, said, you do that again, we're going to come round and arrest you. It tells you that everything is dodgy when they're doing stuff like that. Oh. The two main policemen involved in the case at the time, Detective Inspector Nick Wallen and Detective Sergeant Andy Cass. These two were the main two policemen involved. And the way they talk about Tommy Murray was a far right this, and he wasn't a far right anything. He had no social media presence. He used his phone 2 texts or 3 phone calls in a year. What they said, they found evidence of books at his house. Now, some books had been sent there, but what Tommy had been doing was sending them straight back because they weren't his books. They said they found other books in the house planted by the police. That's what they were. Don't think they can't do it, they can. Don't think they won't do it, they will. And it's happened a lot. Rectory Drive, there's some CCTV round here because that's mentioned. Oh, there it is. Oh, what's that? It's not a real one, is it? No, there's some CCTV round here, he said. Because I remember him talking about Rectory Drive. Could be on one of the houses, but there was some CCTV said. I remember Rectory Drive coming up in the case. So we're following the right path. He's walked up here. I'm out of breath already, but that's because I'm chatting my bollocks off as well. Oh, yeah. A lot of the houses have CCTV, and I'm sure it was round here. Right, yeah. Where Darren Playford's brother lived. Yeah, yeah. So they've got loads of footage of CCTV all up this road. All up this road.
CCTV on the left, you see.
Yeah.
There's plenty up here, isn't there?
Yeah. So they had loads of CCTV, but it didn't show Tommy Murder. It showed a guy with a limp who walked with inverted feet. And even experts have gone over it and showed that he walks with a limp. You can clearly see he walks with a limp. Now, the CCTV footage is showed of Tommy Murder didn't have any limp. What? So his limp just comes and goes? It might do, but it didn't have a limp. He also didn't have any kind of problems like that. He'd not broken any limbs, as far as I know, in his life. And his friend said he walked without a limp. But this guy who killed Jo Cox was walking with a limp. He had different shoes on. He didn't have steel toe cap boots on. Certainly didn't. He had different kind of shoes on. Now, unless he's gone, changed everything and started walking, or walked with a limp, then started walking without a limp, I don't reckon. So Richard Diall thinks it's an ex-serviceman who's working for the government who's done this. That's as far as it goes. I'm not going to say anything. There is a couple of things to say that I could say that I found out myself, but I'm not doing, because I know that the black van will come up and throw me in the van. So I'm just going to keep shut about that until the time comes out. Oh, aye. Big England flag there. Oh, yeah. They better not be voting George Galloway anyway. There's loads. They showed loads of clips from CCTV footage outside people's houses, which directed them that he was going this way up the road. Going back to the scene, they left one woman witness out who Richard Diall ended up talking to. She didn't give her name or anything. She come forward. He talked to her. She gave her name to the police, but they never even brought her in for questioning. And when I was saying about the crime scene, the immediate crime scene where there's blood and all that, you're not going to be looking around. A bit further away, you can look onto the scene and you'll be looking around and you see this woman give a really good description of the scene and everything, better than anybody else, and she was never brought up. in any kind of defence against him or anything like that. Also, there's a local chapel, a church, before we turned on to Union Street, a bit further up. In the newspaper reports, it says a schoolgirl saw a man lying down with binoculars. Nothing ever came of that. That was ignored. Whether they did investigate it or not, they didn't. Nothing ever came out of that. That would have been crucial stuff that they would have needed. So we're at the top of Hillhead Drive. Now we're going to go round this way. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you. I've studied his investigation. I've watched it more than half a dozen times. I've took notes, examined. And when he said about, I'll get to that. When at the end, I'll get to the armed police. And when he said about this, I backed that up with my own evidence by talking to someone who's been an armed copper for 10 years and getting a bit of information on him of how they would approach a scene and if someone was armed or not. But we'll get onto that in a minute. So we've come round here. This bit here just goes round that road and comes out there. It's a bit of a turn on the map. You can see it clearly shows that area there. He's carried on. And he's come out on this road here, which you could have got to just by going off Union Street. And just, so why has he walked all the way around here? Now, he's supposed to have gone to John Nelson Close to change his clothes. Still, the CCTV, when we get to here, is showing that guy, the killer. And I think the CCTV stops when we come around here now. They don't show any CCTV. And we're near now, we're near John Nelson Close. Oh, I wish I'd not had a pint now because I need a wee. Oh, that's the worst thing. So I don't think they've got any CCTV of him on this section here. When the next pictures you see after this section is Tommy Murr going into John Nelson Close, which is just over there. And when you get to the CCTV on John Nelson Close, you can clearly see he's got work boots on. Now, to this point, the guy, whoever they've been taking CCTV, didn't have any of them kind of boots on. Didn't have them work boots on when they were showing him. But now, Tommy has got work boots on when he's been arrested. He had didn't have any history of violence, no history of anything to do with weapons. That Darren Playford, he's the one who said that Tommy had changed acts, but he never seen him going into John Nelson Close. That's important. He never seen him going into John Nelson Close. Can't remember it's that turning or that turning. I'm just gonna check over here. think we're going to be going that way, Andrew. Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's not John Nelson Close.
That's not.
No. It's the next one.
There's a speed camera there, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Might be a bit further down, but they didn't have any footage round here. No footage of him. What? I know. Guys, I'm sorry, but I'm having a wee and I need it. So up to this point now, before it gets on John Nelson Close, there is no CCTV footage of him on that main road. None at all. John Nelson Close. No? Must be the next one then. I mean, the best evidence, though, is on John Nelson Close, where we're coming up to now. I'll explain that when we get to it, but this is the best evidence that I've seen on the case. There was a couple of witnesses on here as well who never got brought into, they never got asked anything, they never got brought up by the defence. And on GMTV, the two coppers said that they didn't know his name. But these two witnesses clearly heard the coppers saying his name and telling him to stop. So they lied, and the media was part of this as well. The guy in the media turns over, oh, you didn't know his name at this time, did you? That's what they were saying. You know, and Richard interviews these people and he phones them back and says, look, are you sure? Yeah, they are sure. Right, I'm lost now. Not found John Nelson Close. I don't think we've missed it. I'm sure we haven't missed it. Hold on. Can't be much further here anyway. So, the people who knew Tommy, Richard D. Hall's gone to all these people and asked them to identify pictures and things like that. And a lot of them, in most of the cases, he said it wasn't him. And these are people who know him, not people who heard about him. These are people who know him really well. Right, we've lost it. John Nelson Close. John Nelson Close. John Nelson Close. Just bear with me, guys. John Nelson Close. Never heard of it. Sorry, I'm here, guys. I'm here. No, we've lost it. I did have a map, but I've not brought my map with me. But John Nelson Close, we'll check on the way back now. But I think I've missed it. But anyway, so he gets on to John Nelson Close. Two people, a woman and a guy, are filming him when the police arrest him. These are the two people who clearly heard the police shout his name. Yeah, on GMBT, they didn't know who he was. Now, the interesting thing about this, right, is that this is 30 odd minutes after, or nearly 40 minutes after Joe's been killed. They know he's got a weapon. The armed police turn up, and all you see on the video is the two normal policemen next to the victim. No one went to check his bag. No one did anything like that. No one checked his bag or anything like that. And the armed police are just walking around him. Now, an armed policeman gets in contact with Richard Dior and says,
All right, thank you. Okay, super, thank you. Super, thank you.
So an armed policeman contacts Richard Dior and said that's not how they would have done it. What they would have done is gone over with the guns and checked that this guy's not armed before anyone else had gone in, ambulance or normal policemen. And when you look at the video, you just see him walking around. They came over to the guy 5 times who was filming in his garden, told him to stop filming. He refused. He's in his right to. If you're on your property, you can do whatever you want filming wise. And fair place to the guy, he resisted and did not give in to him. Did she say up here?
She said it might be.
No, you've been up there anyway, didn't you?
She said straight up here.
It's got to be one of these here. It can't be any further than that.
On the right-hand side.
So obviously I know a few people. I know a copper, and I know he's been an armed policeman for 10 years. So what did I do? I contacted him, explained the situation, and he said the same thing that the guy said to Richard Dior. That's not how they would have done it. They would have gone over, made sure there was no weapons next to him, checked his bag, checked his jacket, patted him down. Then they would have let ambulance and normal police on the scene. But as you could clearly see on the video, the normal police are there all the time. Biggest fit up if I ever seen one in my entire life of lives. And I've covered some dodgy crap, and this is the biggest fit up going. I don't believe Tommy Murr is guilty. None of his family were at the trial. They sent Jo Cox's body and had his trial in London. Now, in Richard Dior's video, he gets contacted by somebody who works close to the coroner's office. And what they say is that if a body is being moved out of the county, the coroner has to sign something. There was no coroner signing anything. There is also an ambulance man who turned up on the scene. And this ambulance man don't even work in this area. doesn't even work in this area. So Richard D. Hall's asking, why would he turn up? Why would this guy turn up on the scene if he didn't work in the area? There is some statements made by this guy, but he just sounds really dodgy as well. Sounds as dodgy as Darren Playford sounded. It's not here neither. We've missed it. I'm not bothered. We can walk back down this road because we would have seen it if it was round here. So it was John Nelson Close. We never managed to get to it, but that's a fact on the video. Now, what I'll do when I get home, I'll put all the links to the videos, Richard D. Hall's videos, on the thing. I'll put links up to the reports on the schoolgirl finding the guy lying down in the churchyard with binoculars, and I'll put all that up afterwards. But I don't believe that Tommy Murr killed Jo Cox. I don't know who killed her, and I don't know why they killed her, but it wasn't him. No one's seen him, and he's doing a life sentence in Hull, prison in Hull. His family never went to the trial. They weren't allowed to. Richard D. Hall gets in contact with his stepbrother and asks about this. We weren't allowed to go. That's what the police, we weren't allowed to go to the trial. That's not right. That must be some kind of law violation. So I don't know why that wasn't chased up, but his defense team never called in them two witnesses who filmed it all and heard him saying, the copper saying, shouting for Thomas Murr to stop. And they never brought them witnesses in. Not at all. So that's dodgy. And you would have thought that the defense would have brought these kind of witnesses in, so they missed a crucial witness from Market Street, and they missed them two crucial witnesses at the house. What these people did, though, the media come round asking to buy the footage. They handed over the phones, and when they got the phones back, it was John Nelson Close. Right.
Checked everywhere. All right, mate.
No worries, thank you. So these witnesses were never brought up, and the crucial witnesses, why weren't they brought up? Why they weren't brought up was because it wasn't Tommy Murr who killed Jo Cox, it was someone else. Tommy Murr was a patsy, and I'm saying that he was a patsy. I've studied this case. I've watched Richard D. Hall's videos, and as I've told you, I've contacted people I know to ask about the case, and they backed up the facts that had been told to Richard D. Hall. So what we should be saying is, who killed Jo Cox and why was she killed? They linked the guy. They said he was a right-wing terrorist. Now, he'd written a note. 8 years before, when he was about 30 odd, he'd written a note to some forum or something, and it said about, we hope we can save the white race in South Africa or something. Also, they said they found books in his house. Now, Richard D. Hall's gone into this. There were books being sent to his house, and Tommy were just sending them back. He contacted the book company. He was just sending them back. And the book on the book company's website, it said that this is where he got the information from. So he wasn't a right-wing anything. They're just making it out like that because that's what they want. They want to demonize us all. It's all right, Andrew. I'm not even going to bother now.
This is street you're talking about where he got picked up by the police.
No, yeah, that's John Nelson Close. But what I'll do, I'll Google it up, search it, and I might come. I'm here for a couple of days, so I might come back and go and find John Nelson Close. I did have a map, but I've not brought it with me. So I don't believe that Jo Cox was killed by Tommy Murr. There's plenty of other people who don't believe it. The evidence, the statement of like I said, armed police. I know an armed policeman, and I contacted him, told him the scenario, and he said the same thing that the guy said to Richard D. Hall. That's not how they would do it. That is not how they would do it. John, at that point, he said, they know he's got weapons, so they should be checking him for weapons. And when you look at the video, they're just walking around him, not checking him for weapons. His bag's on the floor. Nobody's gone to his bag. No one's gone to his bag. Both the coppers in the interview, said dodgy things, really dodgy things. Whether they're part of the program, I don't know, but Tommy did not kill Jo Cox. I'll never, ever believe anything otherwise. You get the lefties, oh, he killed Jo Cox. He said Britain first. Well, he didn't. He did not say Britain first. He said put Britain first. That's what the killer said, put Britain first. Really dodgy case. So, I mean, this case and Tracy's case in London has opened my eyes that the police are just absolutely corrupt to the core. Maybe not the individual policeman, but the overall company. So dodgy, you couldn't make it. And I think a lot of you will agree with that. I mean, you get arrested, put on the terror watch list for having flyers in your pocket. You know what I mean? This is a world we live in. This is the absolute world we live in. You get arrested and get put on the terror watch list for having flies in the pocket. You get arrested and put on the terrorist watch list when 40 Antifa come to attack you. Yeah, bollocks. Absolute bollocks. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I've still got more to come. I'm going to be out tomorrow with the English Democrats and Daddy Dragon and Tracy Hurst. So I'm going to be out with them tomorrow. I'll be taking some pictures. I'll probably do another video here and there. If we run into any other campaigners, Galloway or any of them, I'm definitely going to be doing some videoing. I'm hoping to run into them all this weekend. Kim Leadbeater, George Galloway. And the first thing I want to ask them is, do you think it's okay to put threats of violence on a teacher for a non-violent act? That's what I'm going to say. And whatever answer they come out with, I'm going to say, well, you do think it's okay then? You do think that's allowed? Because that's what's happened. And nobody's been held accountable. Nobody has been held accountable, and it's wrong. It's wrong. An innocent man is in jail because of our shady government. Richard D. Hall thinks he was going to assassinate him, actually, but they didn't because the routine changed, because he changed his path and all that of what he were doing on day, but he really doesn't. And I would think that as well. They assassinated him. There'd be no questions then. No one would say anything, and that'd be it. It'd be gone. He took his own life, the usual thing. But they couldn't do that. So because they couldn't do that, they've messed up. They've absolutely messed up. And the evidence is clear that he was not the killer. And I'll never believe anything else. I'll argue with lefties all day long and all day and night over it. I'll argue with anybody over it. Somebody said to me, he killed her because he couldn't get a flat. That's not a good enough reason. That's nothing. That's not what any of the evidence does not point to that. It does not point to anything like that. There was nothing that said that he was out of a home or he didn't have a flat or whatever. There was no evidence of that. Not one little bit. Of course they are. Mainstream media, Jason. Of course they are. Some of the things I've heard and some of the things they've done is just not on. I don't know which way we've got to go now. Is it down that way?
Where do you
Right.
want to go? What's the name?
I think it is down that way. Oh, is it up there? Right. It's on red. It's on red. So again, yes, Andy Red Volvo. Again, I'll put links up to Richard Diol's videos, and I suggest everybody who knows me watches them videos. Very enlightening, very enlightening, and the evidence is absolutely clear. You can clearly see John Nelson Close. The evidence is absolutely crystal clear on the case. And it is to me, and it should be to anyone with any common sense. I can't believe people, lefties especially, believe everything they see in the mainstream media. They must do. I've had lefties. I had a lefty in Manchester pub. What about Jo Cox? And I went, a load of bollocks. She wasn't murdered. And that's the only clip the lefties have ever put up of me on social media. It's me saying bollocks and going head to head with a guy who I wanted to punch in the face. Right, guys, I'm off. I'll catch up with you soon, probably tomorrow. Watch my social media. Please like and subscribe to all my channels and that, my YouTube especially. And my Telegram's quite active, so if you want to get over to that, hopefully next couple of days I'm meeting up with, be having a chat with my mate Jada and my mate Jada. Tomorrow I'm with Daddy Dragon and Tracy Hurst, and we're going out campaigning around this area. Daddy Dragon's got his battle car out full of flags, and he's got a big massive speaker. You would have seen him with that in London. Big massive thing, like dead wide. So that's where we'll be. So thank you very much, guys. Right, good stuff, Mank Dave. Hiya, Marion. The Constitution, use it or lose it. I think we might have been on the wrong road, but don't worry about it. I'll catch it up another day. So, Big Johnny, I'm in Birstall. I've just done my Jo Cox walk. Like I said, watch Richard Diol's videos. Everything I said is from that video. The only bit of evidence I dug up myself was contacting my friend who's been an armed copper for 10 years. I told him the scenario and he said the same thing that the copper said to Richard Diol. I didn't tell him. I just said, look, there's a scenario here. I told him about it. Is that right? And he said, no, it isn't, John. They would have gone over to him, pointed the gun at his face until they checked they got any kind of weapons. There was nothing on him. If it was like a terrorist, he'd be checking for a suicide vest. They do all that before anyone else goes over to him. Clearly on the video, you don't see any of that. You don't see any of that. Remember your rights as well. If you're filming from your property, nobody, not the Queen, not the Chief Inspector of West Yorkshire Police, not the General of the British Army. Nobody can tell you to stop filming. Nobody can tell you to stop filming. It's your right, it's your property. You can do what you want. Nobody can tell you. Just remember that in public as well. As long as you're not in someone's face with a phone, you can film anything you want. Nobody can tell you to stop that neither. They tried to say that to me in Newcastle, and I said, no, I'm in a public place and I'm filming. You can't stop me. They can't stop you. They can stop you with threats, but they can't stop you with any kind of law or anything like that, especially on your own property and in a public place. You can maybe refine that a little bit, but that is more or less what I know, and that is true to word. And no one's stopped me filming anywhere. Newcastle, man, nobody. Even a public place can do what you want. But anyway, guys, I'm off. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks to my mate Andrew coming up as well. Very interested in the case himself.
Pleasure, John.
And I'll catch you all up tomorrow.